Raise your hand if you love paying taxes. Want to know how you can avoid paying that property transfer tax when buying real estate in British Columbia? It's not quite a loophole, but I'll tell you how. Hey everyone, it's Courtney, and today I want to talk about property transfer tax, also known as PTT, and two major ways you might avoid paying it if you're buying brand new construction or you're a first-time home buyer here in British Columbia. PTT can really add up. For $1 million home purchase, that could be $18,000 in tax on top of the purchase price due at closing. But the good news is there are exemptions that might eliminate or reduce that tax under certain conditions. So let's break it down. A quick refresher, property transfer tax is a provincial tax you pay when you buy property in BC. The way it's calculated is based on 1% on the first $200,000, 2% on the portion from 200,000 up to 2 million, and it goes up from there. So without exemptions, it adds up quickly. Here's one of the biggest ways you can avoid paying that tax. If you buy a brand new home from a builder or developer, and it's going to be your principal residence, meaning you plan to move in and occupy the home, not rent it out. Very important. It has to be your primary residence. There are a few other qualifications required. You must be a permanent resident or a Canadian citizen, and the home must be located in BC, just to name a few. I do recommend going onto the government website to make sure you can take full advantage of the exemption and if you qualify. Now, the full exemption applies if the fair market value of the brand new home is up to a purchase price of $1.1 million. If it's between 1.1 million and 1,150,000, there is a partial exemption. And if it's over 1,150,000, you will not get an exemption and you will be required to pay the tax. So if you're looking at new construction at or under 1.1 million, this could save you thousands of dollars. Did you know that they only recently raised the purchase price amount up to the 1.1 million? It actually used to only be homes up to $750,000. I am so glad they increased that, and it's about time because the rising costs of real estate, you really couldn't get much on a brand new home up to $750,000. So more families can benefit from this, which is great. The other big one is the first-time homebuyer exemption. When I first started in real estate, the rule was simple. If you were buying your very first home to live in and it was priced at $500,000 or under, you were fully exempt from property transfer tax. That was the magic number back then. But as home prices climbed, the government eventually had to make some changes. And today, that exemption stretches well beyond $500,000 and all the way up to $835,000, with partial exemptions even further up to $860,000. Here's what that looks like in real numbers. So if you buy your first home at $500,000 or less, you're still fully exempt. You don't pay any property transfer tax, and that saves you $8,000 in taxes. That same $8,000 rebate now also applies anywhere up to $835,000. So instead of paying $14,700 in property transfer tax on an $835,000 purchase, you'd only pay about $6,700 after the rebate. Between the $835,000 and $860,000 purchase, the exemption phases out, and by $860,000, it's basically gone. So as soon as your purchase price reaches $859,000, that exemption amount is only about $320 at that point. So for first-time buyers, this exemption can be a huge help, but it really only makes a bigger difference if your purchase is at or under $835,000. To qualify, you must meet certain conditions. You never owned a principal residence anywhere in the world before, be a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, filed at least 2 BC income tax returns in the last 6 years, and use the property as your principal residence. And that's just to name a few. And as previously mentioned, don't take my word for it. Be sure to verify the information online to ensure that you qualify for these exemptions. And I will link that website down below. And here's a quick chart to show you how the exemption is applied to brand new homes and if you're a first-time home buyer. And to recap, if you're buying a new build for $1.1 million or less and you qualify based on the criteria, there is no property transfer tax paid, which is nearly $20,000 saved. And if you're a first-time homebuyer getting a place for $800,000, that exemption can save you a couple $1,000s right away. That's extra money for closing costs, furnishing, renovations, and just peace of mind. Any extra funds at the end of the day is better than nothing. Just remember, if you are buying a brand new home, 5% GST will be applicable. And unfortunately, there's no way around that one. If you're shopping for a home and the idea of extra fees is stressing you out, these exemptions might make a real difference for you. If you want help figuring out whether you qualify, whether it's new construction or if you're a first-time home buyer, or if you're looking at resale, shoot me a message and I will walk you through it. And don't forget to give this video a like, hit subscribe for more real estate tips, and share with anyone you know who's buying. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.